Hello everyone and welcome to this pick a card reading video. I'm very excited for this. I don't know why it just popped into my head to do this kind of video, and I have printed out cute little reference pictures that you can look at and keywords. You'll know what I mean when you pick your stack, but there are 3 tarot cards in each of the 3 stacks, as well as 3 oracle cards, and 2 of the oracle cards are from the same deck, just because it deals with, they're from an astrology deck, but they deal with more so someone's personality, in my opinion. At least that's how I came about it, and that's just intuitively what I felt, so that's why I chose that deck, and specifically 2 cards from that deck. But here is stack 1A, stack 2B, stack 3C. You can pause if you'd like and if you need some more time. Again, this is about which interior design style best suits you. But it could also be a style that you never have heard of, or maybe an aesthetic that you never thought you would be interested in. There could be a part of your personality or energy that I could say has untapped potential. You have potential in maybe a certain aesthetic, but it's just you haven't explored it. So this is something that I should say because you should keep an open mind when I'm saying what I feel based off of the cards. You choose what am I trying to say? What style best suits you based off of the pile that you chose. As always, if you do not feel drawn to any of the stacks, that means that this is just not the pick a card reading video for you. I have plenty of other pick a card reading videos that are timeless all throughout my YouTube channel. Also, as a reminder, everything that I talk about and discuss in this video is for entertainment purposes only and cannot be stated as fact. Alright, let's get into it. Hello 1A and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. So, the style that I intuitively chose for this deck was contemporary. The keywords are minimalistic, simplistic, and trendy. And then I will have a close-up of the picture, and that will be at the timestamp down below, a closer look at the image that I chose for you. But of course, if you just look up contemporary interior design style, you'll get the gist of what this style is. Before I get too much into the contemporary design style, I do want to say that in this, I will discuss not only the style that you chose, but other factors around your home. So I think it's really amazing that we have the King of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles here, and both in upright. So when I first pulled these cards, I thought maybe this person will be a maximalist and they'll spend money on a bunch of things, but then I'm like, no, that's actually very much not the vibe I'm getting. And then when I pulled the Oracle cards, that is especially what confirmed it for me, that it is not maximalism that I was picking up on. I think, here, I'll just say this, with the Eight of Wands in reverse, that's about things happening slowly over time. It can also be about delays and such, but I feel that your dream home, I know this isn't necessarily about dream home, but it kind of is, because it's about your aesthetic, your vibe that you want for your home, right? Or that you could potentially have for your home, and how it fits in well with your energy, your own personhood. So with the Eight of Wands in reverse, this to me says that for your dream home, or to be able to achieve this kind of aesthetic that you have in mind when it comes to contemporary homes and designing, it will take time. It won't be something that will be finished. I think some of you maybe will continue to be those kinds of people who are always not designing, but like switching things up inside your home over time. But the thing about contemporary designs too are that it's always trendy, so it always is up to date with the trends. So let's say, I mean, I don't stay up to date with like furniture trends, but let's say for a certain period of time, leather couches are the thing. And let's say you have a leather couch. But then over time, then it's like, oh, it's not leather. Now let's go for this other fabric this maybe softer fabric that's in style. And then you'll end up getting a couch that is up to date and current in that way. And I see your home being very clean. With the King of Pentacles upright and Ten of Pentacles upright, I see you putting a lot of time and a lot of effort and resources into your home. But again, with it happening slowly over time, the Eight of Wands in reverse, I see you really being able to take your time and find pieces for your home, that paint for your home, whatever it is, that really, how do I want to say this? Satisfy your vision. Some of you might even be very picky, which is why I think a contemporary, more minimalistic style would be really good for you, because then you don't have to deal with too much clutter and then having to replace or get rid of things over time. I see everything being very nice and very clean, very chic, and very modern as well. With the contemporary style, it's very similar to modern homes. There are some differences. I'm not an interior decorator or designer, so I wouldn't be the person to ask about the differences, but I still see things being very modern, up to date, and trendy, but simplistic. So not a lot of clutter everywhere. I see things being very efficient. I see, for example, appliances being kept up to date as well. So appliances being new, nothing super old. I don't see a lot of vintage items being in your home. Granted, that doesn't mean that can't be the case, especially when we talk about the root here, the root oracle card. And with that, and even with the Seraphonite card, you could have heirlooms, but if you do, it would be recommended to maybe get them restored or to get them like repainted. Anything that fits in with the overall chic, modern, slick colors and vibe of your home and the decor within your home. We have the Taurus oracle card here too, and Taurus is very homely, so I wonder if a lot of you, this will be hopefully a safe haven for you, this home. You'll feel very safe here, and you'll feel very much like, once you have started establishing this aesthetic, I think it will be hard for you to leave your home. I think a lot of you will have everything you need within your home, and that doesn't mean, again, that you'll have a lot of things, but I think you'll spend good money on having the things that you want and need within your home, so that you won't really even need to go out for entertainment purposes even. I see you finding safety and comfort within your home, and it could be hard to leave. I'm imagining somebody like me, imagining me, I guess, in the morning, not wanting to get up because it's cold, but like it's cold outside, but I don't want to go outside, so then I'm just going to stay under these very warm blankets, and maybe there's a fireplace. I see across all of the decks, I actually see fireplaces could be a thing. For you, actually, I see it the least likely, but because I have to talk about the Taurus card, anything that makes you feel comforted. So for some of you, that includes something like a fireplace, but I see you being very safe, feeling very warm within your home. And Seraphonite, even though the keyword is honesty, we have heart and third eye chakras here. And so I really, when I was pulling for this card, was getting a lot of heart chakra energy, which is really good to hear when you think of a home. And with the root chakra too, I think your home could also be located somewhere near your parents or family members. It could also be like in your hometown, or at least in your home state. So if you've moved away, I can see you moving back home or closer to home to be closer to family or friends or for work even. Even if it's just close to your college, for some reason, if, for example, you like going to like college games or whatever. I could also see you moving if you, for example, were to have kids and they moved for college and then you just move with them to that state. Maybe you've always wanted to move to that state. Whichever most applies to you, but I see this being a very good home base. Like the root chakra card is the best card I could have pulled for you, unless if it was like the fourth house card, or even maybe the Cancer card. But, well, this is technically like the fourth house. For those of you who don't know, the IC line is the beginning line of the fourth house, so I guess this pretty much is perfect. So I see it being very comfortable and comforting, but not clogged. I see you keeping everything clean, so that means there won't be a lot of dust accumulation. Everything will be nice, and it's not going to be something that other people walk in and you would feel ashamed of people seeing your home. But I don't feel like this is necessarily a place where you will entertain a lot, although you could. I think this is mainly just a place curated for you and your tight-knit family. I see a lot of that closeness here. So yeah, everything up to date, spending money on things, but only the things that are important and the things that make sense for your space. And let's see, is there anything else I have to say about this stack? It just feels like a warm hug, really. That's the main thing, and this will be something over time, again, that you'll continue to add to, remove things, put different new things in. You could be somebody who renovates your home quite often as well, to keep everything contemporary and up to date. I could see that for you as well. But yeah, clean. I just want to keep saying clean. I see it being clean. Even though the Ten of Pentacles card has a bunch of cats. But, yeah, but also still comfortable. And this could be a home also I wanted to bring up that is like a starter home that ends up being more than just a starter home. I see, again, with the renovations, it could be something where if it's not a new home that you live in for building this contemporary style, this could still be a home that you buy, even if it's old, and you do a lot of renovations to it, and you make it more your style. I don't see you liking a lot of big, bold colors. I see pretty much just plain white and black colors, more simple designs. I don't see really any designs actually on the wall. If there are designs, it would be something like marble countertops, maybe some wood, I believe. Let me pick up this picture. Is that wood? I don't know if that's wood on the table, but yeah. And then I was going to say something else. If not renovating, was it about renovations? But anyway, I see you having the money to be able to afford to do these things, especially, again, I really have to bring up that Eight of Wands in reverse. You doing things over time, not just buying a bunch of stuff all at once. I will leave it at that, though. Thank you so much, 1A, for watching and listening to this video. Oh, I did want to say a little bit more about the Seraphonite. I mainly pulled the crystal cards because I wanted to see if there's any other color schemes you could incorporate into your home. And so green, especially the green on here, the green and white kind of marbling, that could be a good idea for you for any sort of color schemes if you were to have anything not just black or white. That would be a good idea to incorporate those kinds of colors. Green in general, but especially what is put on the card. And with the honesty keyword too, I will say you should have this home be true to you, even though I don't want to say there won't be much personality in your home, but I see it being so, again, it's simple, but it will still have your personality. So this also can indicate, like, while you can keep it simple, still add bits and pieces that make you and your personality shine within the home. Okay, but I think that's it. Thank you so much, 1A, for watching and listening to this video. If you liked it, you can head on down below the video and give the video a like. You can comment down below if it resonated with you at all, if you like this style, if you've ever heard of this style, and then in the future you can comment down below again and edit your comment and whatnot if you decided to go with a more contemporary style. Or you can even say if you completely disagree. I mean, that's completely fine. Did I already say subscribe to my channel? You can subscribe to my channel if you'd like, and you can check out my channel. I have plenty of other timeless pick a card reading videos. Alright, thank you, 1A, and take care. Hello, 2B, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. Your stack is very interesting. I feel like the people who chose this stack are probably more likely to be highly creative people. I mean, we have the Knight of Cups after all. So, what do I even want to jump into first? Oh, I want to say that I actually have a fusion of two different interior design styles that I want to bring up for you and that are tied to this overall stack. So, we have farmhouse. It says the keywords are rustic, natural, and comfortable. And then for maximalist, I put the keywords cluttered, colorful, and minimal open space. And there's just so much. I'm like, after I read the maximalist one, I was gonna say something, but I'm like, maximalism. Now I'm just like, my brain is all scattered all over the place. Oh, I wanted to say that these pictures, you can see more close-ups of the pictures I chose at the timestamp down below. But you can do that later or now and then jump back. But let's just get into this, okay? So when I was first pulling for this stack, I was kind of, flipping back and forth between maximalist and farmhouse. So with farmhouse, it has similarities to cottagecore, but for some reason I know a lot of people are into cottagecore type of aesthetics nowadays, but for some reason farmhouse made more sense for me to put. But if you feel more drawn to cottagecore, this could also still resonate with you, this whole style. So it's really interesting because I think the Four Swords in reverse especially ties in with maximalism, opposite, like literally completely opposite of what the first deck was talking about. I think a lot of you will have a lot of clutter, and it won't just be in terms of the art style. It will be, I think, a lot of you being messy, which can be bad if you don't if you look at the Libra, the balance, if you don't bring that balance. And then it's interesting how I have Libra balance and then opposition confrontation. It's very, very interesting. Also, I want to bring up how the Kunzet card is here, and the keyword for that is children. It's connected to the third eye and the heart chakras. And there could be a lot of clutter because of children that you have around, whether they're your own children or grandchildren. I can see you just having a lot of clutter, both intentionally and unintentionally, just because of your circumstances. If you have a lot of circumstances. I'm like, did I say that wrong? Anyway. So I see there being a lot of clutter for children or family, even if they're not young, or even if you don't have children, just family in general, or if you host a lot. I see a lot of you having a lot of people over, so it could be hard to keep clean and to keep things tidy and to keep things looking neat. And with the Ace of Cups in reverse too, to me, that indicates that for those of you who are creative, that could be part of the clutter and the mess. There can be a lot of stuck energy if you keep things cluttered though, so I will recommend trying to keep things as clean as you can. But for some of you, I really feel like it's inevitable because of the art style that you do, the art medium, such as if you paint and then there's a bunch of paint all over the place, a bunch of canvases. And if you have like a painting room or a creative or art room, for example, I just see that contributing to a lot of mess. So even with me saying like try to keep as clean as you can, I feel like some of you are just like, yeah, it's pretty much impossible. So, and that will add to your overall aesthetic. I don't see it being a bad thing. I see it tying into that and your personality combined, tying into your home. With the Knight of Cups too, I think a lot of you could take, especially when we look at the maximalist ideas, you will probably take risks in terms of how your home looks. I see with the farmhouse, usually if you look up like farmhouse home aesthetics, usually the images that pop up are more modern, and I see it having more of a modern twist. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you end up in homes that are very old, like 1800s even, like, or early 1900s old homes. And I don't really see you doing much renovations. I see you adding to the charm of the old homes, and I'm getting kind of actually the imagery of cottagecore homes where it's like they kind of have those pointed roofs, but it's not so pointed where it's like razor sharp at the tippity top, if you know what I'm saying. So they're like curved arches almost, but they're still pointed. I don't know how to best explain it, but I see you likely living in an older home or just living in a home where you don't do a lot of renovations, but you add your own furniture and decor into it. With farmhouses, they usually have a lot of wood incorporated into them, and I think a lot of older homes do have wood. If not, you can still add wood, like wooden tables, wooden wall hangings. There's plenty of things you can do to add wood to your home. I see that being something that could be really good, especially if you don't care about getting paint on like wood for some reason. I feel like I should say like stuff like that. Wood is also, I don't know, is wood easy or hard to clean? I don't even know. But yeah, I see there being a lot of things on walls, a lot of furniture condensed together. I don't see this being a home where it's super, super big. I actually see it being more small, actually. I see there being, for a lot of you, levels to this, and I especially want to point out the attic. I think also the attic could be something that's really cool that you decorate, or it could be like a hangout spot. I feel like I have to say that. But even though there's a lot of clutter with the farmhouse, we have to bring up the comfortability. I think you'll feel like this is a very safe space that you can be free and be yourself, be open, and also, again, bring other people around. I think other people will feel very attuned to this house. I think your house will have a certain energy that draws people in. And with the rustic too, a lot of that comes from the wood, the natural as well with the wood. And the lighting, but for some reason with the maximalist styles, I should bring up that I think instead of like natural lighting, I think while you can use that, I see a lot of you with like candelabras and like old style chandeliers, I want to say. I see you being extra, but in a way that still incorporates farmhouse styles. So again, you can look up farmhouse and maximalist decor ideas or home ideas, and you'll get a little bit of a sense. I think bringing more of that farmhouse vibe will help things be or feel less cluttered or less all over the place. So it will help keep you grounded to have some of those farmhouse aesthetics while also being maximalist, if that makes sense. And so see it being very colorful, but still incorporating the rustic nature of farmhouse vibes. So we have Libra, which is balance, which is also interesting because, again, we have, like I was just talking about, maximalist versus farmhouse, which are very different, very, very different from each other. So a balance of both of those could be very helpful, you know, and that doesn't mean it has to be 50% farmhouse, 50% maximalist, but a balance that feels right for you and the space that you have. And then for opposition, confrontation, I just want to say, for some of you, you could have issues with your neighbors, especially if you, for example, some of you might have big gardens. I could see you having big gardens or like crops, flowers, and that could maybe, or even like a tree or two and shrubs, all that, those could maybe have an impact on your neighbors, so be careful about that. Make sure that you are within your line, like your house lines, that you don't have them intrude into other people's property, even if it's just like barely a flower's like peeping over the edge. So fences could be important for you. Also with opposition, make sure that while you have the farmhouse and maximalist vibes, if you do decide to incorporate both, or just whatever you do for the future, but especially if you do these two, make sure that it is balanced. I think some of you will struggle with having that balance. I think it's especially because some of you will struggle with having too many things or not being clean or tidy enough. So make sure that you are able to do that as much as you can so that it doesn't provide a space for stagnant energy. It could also be that you have to be careful about maximalism if you do indeed have children, or if children come around quite often, or even pets, I want to say. Make sure that you don't have anything that could be toxic to them or could cause danger or harm to small creatures or children. I see, like, the vibe of this deck too is I wouldn't be surprised if you have like a gecko or a bird for pets, any reptiles, spiders. That would be really cool. But then with the maximalist style, you have to make sure that if you have your pets roaming around, they don't like get stuck somewhere, they aren't hiding in some random place that you don't really check very much because there's so much stuff and so you aren't able to see everything all the time. But overall, the vibe is comfortable, creative haven, not too much space, and I see it being very homely in terms of your artistic flair, and also if those of you like to have plants or have gardens, I can see that being a part of it as well. So this also is something that should be incorporated into your shed, or she shed, he shed, they shed. I see some of you having those kinds of things as well, even maybe a miniature greenhouse. I see people with this being more economical, so I don't see you, while you're maximalist, I don't see you spending a lot of money on the things that you do have, and if you do, it's like a kind of a once every now and again kind of thing. I see you thrifting a lot of your furniture, actually. I think that could be really cool, and that would incorporate both the maximalist and the farmhouse qualities. I think you yourself probably thrift a lot of your clothes anyway, and if not, I really recommend it. This is the vibe I'm getting for this deck, this stack. Let's see, is there anything else? Also with children too, this could be a place where it brings out your own inner child. It allows you to play. So with the different things you have around, laying around, hanging up around your house, that will help keep you creatively inspired. And like even I'm seeing writing as well. I'm seeing a lot of you being writers. I just see you being very creatively open if you were to incorporate these qualities and consider the advice, the statements that I've been saying throughout this stack. But I will leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me. And again, if you want to, you can look at the more close-up pictures of the farmhouse and maximalist aesthetics at the timestamp down below. It'll just be a little bit of a close-up, you can see. If you like the video, you can head down below and like the video. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, you can subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to comment down below if this resonates with you in any way, or if you've incorporated any of these aesthetics into your life already, or if you want to in the future, and then you can comment again in the future if you would like. And if you want to say that you incorporated any of these styles into your overall home vibe. And if you'd like to, you can go through the videos on my channel. I have plenty of timeless other pick a card reading videos. But thank you so much, Tubi, and take care. Hello 3C, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. I am very excited for this one. I said that about 1A as well, but this is just, you're the kind of person I would want to hang out with, let me just say that. A lot of you who chose this are probably very witchy. So the designs that you chose are gothic and coastal, and I mean both of these together. If you want better close-up pictures of these, by the way, you should go to the timestamp down below to see those either now or later. But if you want, you can also just look up gothic and coastal interior decor or designs for homes. But specifically for this, it would be, you might not think about it. I was trying to do research and I'm like, nobody really does gothic and coastal combined, but combining gothic and coastal, okay, even if you don't live on a coast, although I really feel like a lot of you do or should live on the coast. And let me just say, we also have here, for the tarot cards, we have the moon in reverse, we have the Three of Swords upright, and we have the broom, which is death. Which is also why I'm like, that makes perfect sense for gothic. Like, that is amazing. And then for the oracle cards, we have Descendant, keyword invitation, Blue Lace Agate, communication, throat chakra, and Gemini, cross-pollinate. The keywords for gothic are dark colors, especially black, patterned wallpaper, especially patterns that involve black, the color black, and antique/vintage decor. And then for coastal, we have blues and whites, large windows, and actually large windows relates to the gothic interior design aesthetic as well, I want to say. I just didn't add that for the gothic, I just did 3 different key phrases. But large windows applies to both. And then also for coastal, it says beach/nautical decor such as seashells, sand, real or fake, and anchors. anything nautical or sea or beach related. So when you look at these keywords and you even look at the pictures, they obviously look very different from each other, but that's why Spirit is saying, like, you should incorporate both. If you do decide to do this, you should incorporate both in a way that makes sense for you. Like, even, for example, I was getting imagery of an anchor that's painted black, and it's really big, and maybe it's, like, propped in a way that looks kind of spooky-ooky, I don't know. But also I want to talk about the tarot cards. So the moon itself is very much tied to water and the divine feminine as well. That doesn't mean you have to be a woman or even yourself strongly connected to the divine feminine. But the moon itself is greatly connected to water because it influences the oceans and it influences the tides, which influences the climate and temperatures, just the atmosphere in general. Without the moon, also, we would kind of all die. Same with the sun, but the moon greatly affects everything. So we also have the Three of Swords, and I don't want you to be worried about that or the Death card. Obviously, if you know about tarot, you know that the Death card is actually it's one of my absolute favorite cards, like top 5 favorite cards. I love the Death card so much, not only because it looks metal and is metal, but because it's also about change. But also it relates to the Gothic aesthetic. I'm just so excited about this one. I'm getting the visuals. But the Three of Swords, too, I don't want you to think, with that, it's called the Heartbreak card. And if you are able to see close enough, the person in the imagery is holding the Three of Swords with the 3 swords going through the heart, which is the traditional imagery of this card. And the key phrase underneath says, it's okay to cry. I think there will be a lot of turmoil and a lot of changes that you go through in your home. Specifically, if you decide to incorporate these either or both aesthetics, the Gothic or coastal aesthetics, into your home. But I do want to say, I feel a sense of safety while being vulnerable. Some of you maybe haven't ever really felt safe within your home. And so Spirit is saying that if you create and curate this kind of environment, you will be able to feel safe within your home and be vulnerable. I think with your dream home, and I was talking about this in stack 1A2, this doesn't have to relate, this whole reading doesn't have to relate specifically to your dream home, but for a lot of you, I think it will, just because if you incorporate these aesthetics, and I don't know, what do I want to say? Basically, if you incorporate these different aesthetics now, that doesn't mean that where you are now has to be your dream home, but I'm thinking also your home, whether it's now or in the future, what it will look like, the vibe it will be. So for a lot of you, this does tie to dream home. So if I say dream home and that doesn't really resonate with you, and you're like, I'm not in my dream home, but I still want to incorporate these, you still obviously absolutely can. And anyway, incorporating these aesthetics, I think some of you might not be able to yet, especially if there's a certain style of home, especially with the Gothic card here, or even coastal. If you want to live on the coast in a Gothic home, those don't really exist as much, I feel like. But anyway, some of you might wait a little bit to incorporate these. Did you hear the honking outside, by the way? Anyway, some of you may wait a little bit to incorporate these styles into your home, or more fully dive into these aesthetics, especially, for example, the anchor. It's like if you want a big black anchor and you live in a very tiny home or apartment and you're like, I cannot afford to do this, or maybe I live with roommates who would not like this. It's like, just do what you can, and then if you're able to get a different space, then perfect. If not, just do what you can. But I don't know why I felt the need to emphasize all of that so much. I didn't do that as much for the other decks. But anyway, this will be a place that you feel safe and that you can feel vulnerable in. And I think, again, like I said, you will go through a lot of changes while being in this home, or while incorporating these aesthetics into your home. Of course, I do have to say that there are Gothic style homes that I do feel like you will end up being in, and even if you aren't on the coast while living in your home, I see you being probably closer to some sort of water, and that can even include lake, like a lake. I live in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, so like there's so many different homes here. Granted, they're more so like log cabins and modern or mid-century modern homes, but even if it doesn't look gothic on the outside, of course, you can make it gothic on the inside. Same with the coastal vibe. But I see you being near some body of water. I see that being very helpful for you, even if it's not directly on the coast. And even with the blue lace agate, I see you, and that ties in perfectly with the coastal card, because this card mainly ties in with colors that you should incorporate. That was my intention, at least. The crystal card could be a card that relates to the style of your home. So we already know about the coastal, the blues and whites, so definitely incorporate blues and whites into your home, but also of course the black and dark colors of gothic. It's weird, I'm not really getting a vibe that a lot of you would want to, oh, maybe so, you could have like certain rooms of your home be gothic colored and then other parts be very bright. Although for some people that could be jarring. For you, I think that actually might work. You could put yourself in a different headspace as well, being in more of the dark colored room versus the blue and white coastal rooms. So that's something to consider and keep in mind. And if that isn't something that resonates with you, then also with the cross-pollinate too. Yes, this is what I want to talk about. So with the Gemini cross-pollinate card, I think a lot of you will actually want to incorporate these more so together. So again, the coastal vibes, painting things black that are coastal, like even shells or like a deep dark purple or any other dark colors. But I do recommend incorporating blues in some way, even if it's more of a dark blue. And with the cross-pollinate, there's really a sense that you should fuse these two together. And I don't want to say too much about what you should do. I've already given examples, because I feel like you should just do whatever works best for you, whatever feels best for you. Like, I'm even right now, for some reason, imagining like a black piano, but then on top of it, you like place like a bowl of sand or seashells, Yeah, I'm just seeing a sense of fusing the two together more than separating, but for some of you, maybe separating different rooms with the color themes and whatnot and decor would make more sense for you. With Descendant, we have Invitation. And with that, I feel that a lot of you will make your home inviting, even though if it looks gothic, like I'm getting the vibe, it'll scare the right people away, but it'll bring the right people in, the people who are into the dark and mysterious. When I was pulling these cards and like laying them out again, I was getting big sea witch vibes. I think a lot of you could definitely be sea witches. I think a lot of you could have water placements, like heavy water placements in your chart, which would not surprise me. But I think it could be very inviting. I'm seeing, like, for those of you who are very witchy, having ceremonies or rituals at your home alone and with other people. I see this being a place where, again, just I'm seeing a lot of changes happening, and that could also be through your own will, through manifesting, through incantations, invocations, spell work, rituals, solo, group work, all of that. I just see it being very good for if you're into all the spiritual stuff, if you're watching this, you probably are, into your spiritual growth and journey, and getting you to tap into more of the witchy side of things or the mystical side of things, even astrology as well. But I see you getting into all of that, especially when you tap into these gothic and or coastal aesthetics that you start bringing to your home, because really your home, the vibe of your home affects your mood, it affects your creativity levels, it affects how you think, what you want to do, it just affects everything. And so I see this being ultimately, at the end of the day, if I were to sum everything up, a place that's inviting for the right people and scares the other people away that are the right people to be scared away, infusing the dark and the light of the colors and the vibes and the decor and everything, and having this be a safe space. I see this being more of a small to medium-sized place. It could be bigger as well, but I just see you having everything that you need and not needing much more. Just having the space for what you want within your home and not having it be too maximal or maximalistic. Having what you need and being happy and content with what you have. as you go through changes in life, and this home will help you through those changes that you go through in life. I see this being a place that some of you might not even be in forever, at least when you first start incorporating the Gothic and coastal themes, but I see it being very pertinent to your soul's journey in this lifetime, is actually what I want to say, which is, yeah, that's great. So I will end that here. If you want to, again, look at the pictures more close up, I will have those listed at the timestamp below, which will basically be at the end of this reading, though. Like your part 3C. If you like the video, you can like the video. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you certainly can. That would help me out a lot. You can comment down below if you resonate with anything that I said for your stack. And in the future, you can comment again if you took any of my advice or incorporated any of these themes into your home, or if you plan to. You can check out the other videos on my channel if you'd like. There are plenty of timeless pick a card reading videos all throughout my channel. Also, I didn't mention this in the other, after the other stacks, but I do have an ASMR channel, Brittney's ASMR, and that will be linked down below as well. But thank you so much, 3C, and take care. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. If you liked the content, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and comment down below, as it really helps my channel out a lot. You can follow me on my socials listed here on the screen. Thank you, and blessed be.